Hello, one and all. So in Kenshi, we can automate just about everything to our heart's content, really except for two things, and that is meat and animal skin. So the question is, can we somehow automate either one of those processes? And the answer is kind of, sort of. There are several asterisks and many caveats to those particular questions. The only really way to, for lack of a better word, to automate that kind of process is to set up a little farm. There are only technically two creatures who will eat this, and that is the swamp raptors and the river raptors. Outside of that, no other creature that I have been able to test to find out to confirm will actually seek out these plants to eat them. Downside there, of course, is that these guys only give you one skin per, and as far as meat is concerned, it's only the fowl meat, which great if you have yourself a hiver who will eat, pretty much anything, but for everyone else, not so much. So we cannot, in terms of food, automate meat gathering. Now we can automate, again, for lack of a better word, the hide gathering, the skins. But to do that, you either need to be in the swamp, or you need to be up here in Arkenville. I've even seen them up in this section as well, the river raptors, but not anywhere near as common. I suspect that was a pathing thing. But to be here in Arkenville, you do really need to be human and a male. So if you have any kind of, not that, you really do need to be in the swamp. I've tried up in the Leviathan's Coast, which is beautiful, but no joy. I've tried here in the border regions where you have other animals like the garu and the goats that will wander through, but they are not interested in the growing plants. Big things as well don't care, they're just there for meat. So you're really limited to those two places from what I've tested. I have not seen anything in the Stormgap Coast before that will go after the food. I don't think crabs are interested in any sort of wheat. So there, as you can probably see on the map already though, bit of a problem with a setup like this. Well, before we get there, how do you get a setup like this? How do we automate this process? And for that, you're going to need just a farm. And I've got some hemp here, totally legal in Kenshi. And you've got a barrel to store it. And obviously we need a mine, or not a mine, wow, a water well for the water. And I have got a couple of these mounted crossbow turrets set up here on the ground to cover that, but as you can see, they didn't really do much. So you might be wondering, for a setup like this, what do you need? Well, the first thing is you need a small research bench, and that will cost you 3 building materials. From that, you need to upgrade to the tech bench level 2, and that will take you 6 books to learn, and it will take you 10 iron plates to build that. You will also need that in like a medium-sized house. So either you need to build a house or you need to buy one at a town to do so, to actually put it in. For the mounted crossbows, that will cost you 4 books in the Tech 2 bench. And you might as well get the mounted crossbow strings for that as well. That's another 2 books, so just call it 6 books in total. For whatever plant, whatever farm you want to grow, that's going to be 2 plants in the research bench. And that'll be 10 total for a small farm. For the crossbows themselves, for the mounted crossbows, that is going to be 6 iron plates per mounted crossbow you want to build. For the well, that is going to cost you 5 building materials. And for the storage right here, that will cost you 1 building material. But as you've seen the map, you might have noticed, this is considered an outpost. And this is going to come with all the problems of an outpost. There's some Might see some bodies over here. Some bandits tried to attack us. During all the swamp raptors attacking, there were, if you can see them, blood spiders. And we all know about blood spiders. So if you're going to set up any kind of skin harvesting ranch, if you will, here, well, then you might as well build some walls to protect it. Well, if you're doing that, you might as well get yourself a house, put some beds in. And if you're doing that, well, we might as well get a windmill for some power, for some lights we can see, and next thing you know, you've just got a base. So really any setup like this, if you're just trying to create like a little, for lack of a better word, almost like a salt lick, as if you're trying to attract critters, and then, harpoon them from range, it's going to count as an outpost to do this, which means, again, you're going to be getting bandit attacks, you're going to be getting all the usuals. If you're up in Aquanitville, you're going to be getting Prayer Day, which we do know is the best day, but you do have to contend with that. So, can you set up something like this to, for lack of a better word, passively gain animal skins? Technically, yes. Can you get some meat from them? Technically, yes, but again, it's the foul raw meat, and as you can see, the only people who are going to touch that are hivers. You only get one skin per, but again, as you can see here, we had a lot. We had a lot show up. So that's not terrible, except that a beak thing will give us like 6 animal skins per beak thing, plus about the same amount in raw meat, which we can cook, and then everybody eats that. And beak things are a lot easier to find. You can just go out, proactively go get them. So while you can do a setup like this, hey, this is up to you, but I probably, for me, unless I were building my base around it, unless that was going to be sort of integral to my actual base of operations, and if I was living again in the swamp or in Arkenville up here, I probably would not set anything like this up. You can if you want. It can be kind of cool for RP if you want to make like a little, skin harvesting base somewhere, and then have your actual outpost somewhere else. You could totally do that. But is it super viable? Are there better ways? In the end, it's super easy to break Kenshi. It's super easy to get incredibly rich and powerful. So I don't know. You do with this as you want.